Hey, welcome back to the channel. It's awesome that you're tuning in. When it comes to the PlayStation 2, I have so many fun memories with this device. But beside the memories, I still like to play on it, because there are so many good titles. But connecting your PlayStation 2 on a new television is going to be quite challenging, and there are some things that you need to know. But in this video, I want to take a close look. One of my favorite things is the PlayStation 2 to HDMI. And my camera doesn't focus today. Crap. So when it comes to the PlayStation 2 to HDMI, this is one of my favorite ways to play in 2022. And there are just some caveats that you need to know before you're going to pick it up, because this thing is not compatible with every single PlayStation, and I'll explain why that is. You just need to use a USB mini to USB for powering it on, otherwise you will not get any signal whatsoever. But besides that, it's a super easy way. You plug it in, you're even going to get yourself the option for a jack out for the audio, and we're going to get yourself like the HDMI out signal. Super easy, but let's talk about all the other options and why I just like this thing. In my previous videos I also talked about the BitFunks version. This is another great way to play, but the signal output is slightly different. But when it comes to cheap devices, the PlayStation 2 to HD is one of those, let's say, different ways to play. So the BitFunks is, let's say, a little bit more expensive, so I want to mainly focus on these two and also like check it out later on with a full top 5. But now I just want to focus on my favorite one, the PS2 to HDMI. What is the differences and how is the signal and what are the things you need to look out for? Okay, when you're looking at the PlayStation 2 fat models, there are, let's say, the first generation that doesn't have the support for the component cable and also not for the dongle. The 50,000, for example, one of the latest models, this one will work just fine. Alright, so let's take a close look at the old cables. So this is the composite one. This one works basically with every single PlayStation, of course. But when you're looking at the component cable, and this is the cable that I wanted to try out, and I've also noticed in the past that it doesn't work with every FAT model. But the problem is, like, this tiny dongle will basically use this signal and converts it to a certain secondary signal output. And the problem is, like, this dongle is the same like the component cable and doesn't work with every single PlayStation 2 FAT. So take consideration and triple check which serial number you're having. Otherwise, you're going to get one and it doesn't work. And that should be a quick big bummer, because you just wasted a couple of dollars. Yeah. Okay, so let's plug it in. And when you're plugging it in, yeah, it fits in very well. But you need to be careful if you're going to tilt it. Otherwise, you're going to like mess around and kill your freaking dongle, because you're going to break something in the inside. So what you need to do is next, like, you connecting the USB connection, because this thing needs some juice, or this is something that is just needed with my PlayStations. And if you don't use this, it's highly possible you're not going to get any juice at all. So let's plug this thing at the front of the PlayStation, and we are ready to go. And not forget the HDMI cable, of course. But if you have connected everything and this bloody thing doesn't give any signal, the problem is that your signal output haven't been set to the right configuration. And I just made a separate video about it, but it's such a pain in the ass. And I think that's one of the biggest caveats of this dongle. It doesn't recognize both systems, so if it's set to the different one, you're not going to get any signal whatsoever. So let's mess around with it and let's set it back. Alright, the system has been booted up. Here you can see, like, I did unplug the PS2 to HDMI. Let's go to system configuration. Here we need to go to not the language, not the clock adjustment. We can put the screen size to full. That would be much better, to be honest. And then we're going to go to the component video output. And here we need to put it on the auto signal. And now everything needs to be working as it should be. So let's reboot the system and let's plug in the HDMI dongle. System has been rebooted, and here you can see that we're going to get ourselves a signal output. And the first thing I'm noticing, it looks so much crisp and clear, and that is what I really love about this dongle. And again, I will do some quick side by side so we can see like what are the differences and what do I mean. So here you can see already, like, with the capture from the television, that everything looks so much better now. But take consideration, if you're going to set this back to RGB, you're just going to have the same issue. Do be careful with that. So let's try some captures and yeah, just do a quick side by side with other, let's say, dongles that I've tried before. Okay, so next up what we're going to do, basically we're going to get to the PAL 60 Hz I want to put it. I want to have like the best result and the best resolution for the system. So let's boot it up and just do a quick gameplay, but let's do some captures. And let's see what are the differences between all of the adapters. The signal output, what you're going to get with this dongle, is absolutely amazing. Depending on what kind of monitor you're having, somehow it's now set to full screen, but some of the capture devices will put it to the original 4:3 aspect ratio. I find it quite interesting to see how many of these, let's say, dongles and HDMI cables we're having, but the results in the end are completely different. Yeah, and again, I'm always using this dongle because I think it's one of the best ones. But again, it's completely, like say, personal. Some people don't like it at all and just want to see something else when it comes to audio and visual quality. But when you're looking at the quality that comes out of this dongle, I think it's absolutely amazing. The only downside you need to take consideration is it's going to be quite a weird resolution, so some television can have an issue with it.
Race for the top position.
But when you're looking at the side-by-side comparison with different models, you will see clearly that they were having quite a difference between like all of the freaking dongles. And yeah, it's quite surprising to see like how big of a difference we're having. So to begin with, if you're going to use like the PlayStation 2 to HD, like the other cheap model, like this thing is absolutely garbage compared with this old one that I've like say laying around for a couple of years. And when you're moving on to other models, think about the Bitfunks, for example. Also, this one is pretty damn good, but still the colors are slightly off. Something I personally don't like because it's more like a green, let's say, layer on it. Like kind of weird if you ask me. And not to forget, the Bitfunks does have the option for the RGB signal output, so you don't have this hustle with a no signal problem like with the PS2 to HDMI dongle. We're having so many freaking options nowadays, but still, the PlayStation 2 to HDMI is a very cool way to play. These things are dirty cheap to pick up, depending of course where you're finding it. I think I picked them up from AliExpress and they're like a couple of dollars. And for the money, we cannot really complain. For example, we did also test out this PS2 to HDMI or HD, but the signal they're utilizing is such a low quality and the upscaling is absolutely horrendous. And that's just the reason I love the PS2 to HDMI. Let me know in the comments, do you own one? What are your experiences? Well, thank you for watching, consider subscribing, hit that little bell, become the Wicked family, and I will see you in the next video.